to his land.
Hello, sweet friends. Tonight, we're curling up with a calming tale. The kind of story that drifts in slow and quiet, the way the first raindrops arrive before a gentle shower. Imagine the air turning soft and cool, the sky a little heavier with clouds, and then tap, tap, something brushes your cheek. It isn't a feather, and it isn't a butterfly. It's the first playful drop of rain, tumbling down as though the sky itself is inviting you to come outside. You can almost smell it before it comes fully. That fresh, earthy scent that makes you think of hidden gardens and soft moss carpets. The ground whispers, "Ah, thank you," as the first drops sink into the soil. If you lean close, it feels like the earth is sipping a long, refreshing drink. You wouldn't make it through a big glass of water that size in one gulp. But the ground, oh, it manages beautifully. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment, like the video, and subscribe. But only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And if you're listening with your little one, or maybe with your tiny one still resting inside you, share this video with your friends, along with your location and the time right now. Someone across the world might be cozying up with the rain, too. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. The first drops scatter like shy messengers. They don't all fall at once, just a few at first, spaced out like little commas in the sentence of the sky. You tilt your head, catching one drop on your nose. It tickles, and you can't help but giggle. Another lands on your hand, cool and shiny like a tiny marble delivered by the clouds. And another brushes your eyelashes, so light, you wonder if it's teasing you. You walk across the yard, each step carrying you deeper into this playful meeting. The air hums with quiet expectation. You can almost feel the whole world taking a breath, holding still to listen to what comes next. The leaves overhead begin to tremble, tapping together as the raindrops gather courage. And then, pat, 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 more drops join, each one leaping from the sky like a child eager to play tag. You stretch your arms wide, and the rain decides you make a perfect landing spot. Soon, your sleeves darken with wet patches, little badges of honor proving you were the first chosen by the sky's game. You laugh again, and the rain seems to laugh back, tumbling faster, bouncing off your shoulders, pattering down your hair in cool little lines. The ground answers in return. Dusty paths soften, stones glisten, and tiny streams begin sneaking along the edges of the grass. They weave like silver threads, connecting puddle to puddle, making secret maps only your eyes can read. You follow the lines, your shoes making squelchy sounds. If raindrops are the music, your footsteps are the drums. Boom, squelch, tap, tap. A song just for you. Look around. Everywhere you see, the world is brighter. Greens glow deeper. Browns turn richer. And even the air shimmers as though wrapped in a soft silk scarf. You tilt your face upward. Raindrops fall straight into your smile, splashing against your lips like cool kisses. One sneaks inside your mouth, and you taste its clean, sweet nothingness. It's like sipping a memory from the sky itself. And oh, the sound. The sound is everywhere. It isn't loud, not yet, but it's steady. Patter, patter on leaves, drip, drip on fences, thump, thump on rooftops. Each surface gives the rain its own voice, and together they form a choir. You wonder if perhaps the sky has been practicing all day for this very concert. Sometimes, a drop falls so slowly that you can follow its journey. It clings to a branch, trembles there like it's shy, then plop. It jumps, falling into the grass where it disappears as quickly as it came. Other drops don't hesitate at all. They rush down with such cheer that you almost expect them to shout, "Whee!" as they fall. And in between the sounds and sights, there's a feeling. The kind of feeling that makes you want to spread your arms and spin. The rain isn't here to make things gray or gloomy. No, it's here to play. It's here to remind you that the sky is never too old to laugh. You find yourself remembering little moments, like the time you poured water into a glass too quickly, and it splashed everywhere. That's what the clouds must feel like now. Too full, too giggly, and too eager to pour out all at once. Or like when you blow bubbles, and they drift around, popping wherever they please. The raindrops are bubbles in reverse, tumbling down instead of up. And if you listen closely, you can almost hear their tiny voices. "Catch me," says one. "Over here," calls another. They don't care if you can't catch them all. They just want you to chase, to look, to laugh. The rain thickens, becoming more insistent. Your clothes cling to your skin, but it doesn't feel uncomfortable. It feels like you've been wrapped in a cool living blanket. A blanket stitched from clouds and laughter. You tilt your head back once more, letting your eyelashes gather drops until the world blurs into a watery dream. Time doesn't matter now. You don't count minutes or worry about what comes after. All that matters is the now, the splashing, the shining, the endless little games of sky and earth. And just as you're about to wonder if the rain will stay forever, you see something curious at your feet. The Curious Puddle is the first to greet you. At your feet, a shallow pool of water has gathered, its surface trembling with each fresh drop. It looks almost shy at first, rippling gently, then smoothing itself into a perfect circle, as if waiting for you to notice. And when you do, you can't help but crouch closer. The puddle seems to wink back at you, though puddles don't usually wink. Still, this one does. Its ripples curl like laughter lines, as though it has been waiting all day just to meet you. You lean over it, and there you are. A reflection, softened and stretched, your face glowing brighter than you remember. Your eyes blink back at you from the water, larger somehow, dreamy, as though the puddle is showing you not just who you are, but who you feel like in this playful rain. You dip a fingertip into the water, and the reflection shatters. Suddenly, you're not just one person. You're 1,000 tiny sparkles, all darting away in silver rings. You laugh, because the puddle laughs too. Its ripples carrying your giggles out to the edges. You realize the puddle is like a mirror that doesn't take itself too seriously. Regular mirrors might fuss about showing you exactly as you are. But puddles, they love to exaggerate, to stretch, to swirl you into a work of art. You push your face closer until your breath fogs the surface. The water dances from the warmth, and for a moment, the reflection seems to whisper back, "Play with me." So, you do. You stomp one foot right in the middle, and oh, the puddle explodes into crowns of droplets, each one racing outward as though eager to escape, only to fall back with a little plop. The splash paints your legs with cold freckles, and the puddle, unbothered, gathers itself again as though saying, "Nice try. Let's go again." So you stomp once more, harder this time. The water leaps higher, some drops clinging to your cheeks like crystal stickers. One especially bold drop slides right down the tip of your nose, making you sneeze a tiny giggle. The puddle shimmers in delight, rippling faster, as though applauding your performance. Have you noticed how puddles never seem to mind being disturbed? They don't sulk when you jump in them, don't cry when you scatter their calm surface. No, they seem to grow happier, livelier, more themselves when you give them your attention. Like a friend who loves to be tickled, puddles enjoy your stomps and splashes. They cheer you on with every ripple. You pause and peer deeper into its center. The reflection isn't just you anymore. You see the sky in there too, a swirling silver ceiling pressed into the earth. Clouds drift slowly across the puddle's surface, tiny versions of the big ones above. And for a magical second, you wonder, are the clouds looking down at their own reflection too? Perhaps this puddle is their mirror, just as it is yours. You laugh at the thought of fluffy clouds brushing their hair in puddle mirrors, or checking if their edges are straight. Maybe that's why rain falls at all, because clouds lean too close to the puddles, and their fluff drips right down. The puddle doesn't answer your joke, but its ripples grow wider, as though it's chuckling along. Your shoes are damp now, squishy with water. Each step makes a sound like a sponge sighing. You don't mind. In fact, you lift your foot and press it down into the puddle again, slowly this time. The water rises around your shoe like a tiny moat, circling your foot before sinking back. You imagine yourself as a grand castle planted firmly in the middle of this liquid kingdom. And puddles love kingdoms. With every step you take, new ones form around you. Shallow puddles that reflect only the nearest leaf. Deeper puddles that mirror the whole sky. You hop from one to the next, like a traveler moving across secret portals. Each puddle feels like a doorway to another world. If you stared long enough, maybe you'd fall in. Have you ever thought what's beneath the puddle's skin? You might expect dirt or stones, but tonight you sense something more. The way the puddle ripples, it feels alive. Maybe there's a whole family of water spirits beneath the surface, waiting for your splash to wake them. When you stir the puddle with your shoe, they rise as circles, racing outward in celebration, then fade again, as if waving goodbye until next time. You bend down and tap the surface with just one finger. Tiny ripples bloom outwards like rings of a tree growing in fast motion. You can't help but smile. You've painted a picture with your fingertip, but it's a picture that moves. You tap again, this time with 2 fingers, and the puddle overlaps your ripples, creating new patterns, like lace woven from silver thread. Then something surprising happens. A single leaf, caught in the breeze, twirls down and lands right in the center. It sails across the water like a tiny boat, bobbing gently on the ripples you made. You kneel lower, your breath slowing, as though you've stumbled upon a secret race. Will the leaf drift to the far side? Will it spin in circles forever? The puddle takes its role as captain seriously, guiding the little leaf on an adventure across its mirrored surface. You decide to give the boat a push. One soft breath is all it takes. The leaf sails farther, spinning, dipping, yet never sinking. The puddle has claimed it now, keeping it afloat. Together, they look so content. Leaf and water, boat and sea, two friends in one. The sky answers with a heavier patter, drops falling faster, bouncing into the puddle and sending playful splashes into the air. The puddle doesn't complain at all. It opens its arms wider, gathering more water, more sky, more reflections. The mirror grows deeper, brighter, livelier, and in its shimmer, your imagination grows with it. You imagine the puddle as a secret eye, one that lets you peek into another world where children just like you are playing in their own puddles, laughing at their own reflections. Perhaps if you tapped the water just right, they might see you waving through. The thought makes you giggle again. The puddle's ripples echo the sound, carrying it outward in widening rings until they vanish into the rain. But puddles, like all friends, know how to share the stage. As you stand, shaking droplets from your hair, you notice the puddle glancing toward another game waiting nearby. Water leaps with more confidence now, splashing not just at your feet, but all around you. The rain has grown bolder, as though the puddle has called its sky friends into play. And just like that, you realize there's more than mirrors to discover. There's a whole game waiting in the rain's embrace. And so, with shoes squelching and laughter bubbling, you step forward, ready to see how the rain will play next. You lift your foot, and this time you don't tiptoe around the puddles. No, you leap straight into the middle with both feet. Splash! The rain cheers as water bursts outward, leaping up in little silver crowns that gleam for just a breath before falling back down. They sparkle like tiny tiaras, jewels too delicate to keep, belonging only to the moment of the splash. You land and laugh so hard your belly jiggles. The puddle seems proud of its performance, sending more ripples racing away from your shoes. And before you can even think about it, your body is moving again. You jump, spin, land in another puddle, splash. This one a little deeper, spraying water right up your legs. Your clothes cling damp and cool, but it only makes you laugh harder. The rain is no longer just falling around you, it's playing with you. Every stomp feels like the beat of a drum, and every splash is the cymbal crashing after. You're not just walking anymore, you're conducting a concert of splashes. The ground is your stage, the sky your audience, and the rain your fellow musicians. At one point, you lift your foot slowly, then slam it down with all your might. A wave jumps so high it catches your cheeks, dotting them with tiny raindrop kisses. You wipe your face with your sleeve, but more drops fall from above, replacing the ones you tried to brush away. The rain seems to say, "Don't stop now. Play with me more." So you do. You march in a silly rhythm. Left foot, right foot. Stomp, stomp, stomp. The splashes rise like soldiers in shiny boots, following your commands. Then you switch, tiptoe, leap, spin, until the puddles are dancing right along with you. And oh, the shapes the water makes. One splash looks like a crown with 1,000 points. Another looks like a flower blooming for just an instant before folding back into the puddle. Another, if you squint and tilt your head, looks like a tiny fish jumping free. The puddles are artists, too, painting with water in ways no brush could ever capture. You start a little game with yourself. Can you make the biggest splash? You run and leap, landing with both feet. Whoosh! Water sprays so high it nearly touches your chin. You giggle and point, as though the puddle has surprised even itself. Can you make the tiniest splash? You lower one toe gently, gently, letting only a single droplet rise like a secret bubble. It's perfect. A whisper of a splash, small but proud. Then you try making patterns. One stomp here, one stomp there, sending ripples crossing each other until they weave together in diamond shapes. It looks like the puddle has learned how to sew with water thread. The patterns last only a heartbeat before smoothing out. But that's what makes them so magical. They're drawings you make with your feet, erase the moment you lift them, leaving room for the next masterpiece. The rain doesn't hold back anymore. It tumbles down in playful bursts, as though the sky has joined your game. Each new drop adds its own tiny splash, creating a chorus of patters and plops. It feels like you've invited the whole world to play. You laugh so loudly you almost expect someone else to come outside and see what's so funny. But no one comes, and maybe that's for the best. This feels like a secret. Your rain, your puddles, your private concert. You pause just long enough to catch your breath, your hair plastered to your forehead, your shoes heavy with water. Around you, puddles glisten like tiny lakes, each one waiting for its turn in the game. You look down at your reflection again, and this time, it's blurry, broken into ripples by the endless drops. It doesn't matter. You're not here to see yourself. You're here to feel yourself. To feel the freedom of stomping and splashing with no rules at all. And just when you think you've played every game a puddle can offer, you notice something new. The sound. Splash after splash. The water makes its own rhythm. Not just one beat, but many. Each stomp adds a bass drum. Each raindrop plink adds a flute. Each ripple hums like a string being strummed. You realize you're not just splashing, you're dancing with the music of the rain. You spin, arms wide, and land in another puddle, sending droplets soaring in every direction. For a moment, it feels like you've become the rain itself, falling, bouncing, laughing, playing. You forget where the puddles end, and you begin. The water is part of you now, flowing with your steps. And as you dance in the puddles, a curious thought tiptoes in. Maybe the rain has been waiting all this time, not for the flowers or the grass, but for you. Maybe these drops fell not just to water the earth, but to splash and sparkle with someone willing to play. You grin at the idea, Stomp once more, and the puddle answers with a splash that looks very much like applause. And then, as you pause, breathing hard, hair dripping and clothes clinging, the world tilts into a new kind of game. You close your eyes, and the sound of the rain changes. It's no longer just splashes and stomps. It's becoming a song. You stand still, your feet planted deep in the puddles, and for the first time tonight, you simply listen. The splashes quiet, the stomps fade. What fills your ears now is something gentler, something more intricate. Rain's gentle music has been playing all along. You just hadn't stopped long enough to hear the whole symphony. Close your eyes, and you notice how many voices the rain truly has. On the leaves above, it patters like 1,000 tiny fingertips drumming in quick rhythm, soft, nimble, like a piano played by invisible hands. On the roof nearby, it sounds heavier, rounder, each drop hitting with the deep boom of a drum. On the puddles, the puddles sing with the high notes, plink, plink, like glass chimes in the wind. And when the drops meet the soil, they hum low and steady, as though the earth itself is sighing into song. It's not random noise, you realize. The rain has a plan, a melody woven into every surface. Each drop chooses its instrument carefully, as if guided by a conductor hiding in the clouds. If you listen closely enough, you can almost imagine the baton waving up there, calling each raindrop to play its part. You tilt your head, and the sound shifts. The rhythm of the leaves overlaps with the murmur of the gutters, creating harmonies you hadn't noticed. It's a whole orchestra. Flutes of dripping branches, violins of whispering grass, cellos of rain-heavy trees. And just when you think you've heard it all, the wind sweeps through, adding its own long, low notes, a breathy organ that ties everything together. You laugh softly, because it's so much bigger than you expected. Who knew that stepping outside in the rain would mean stepping into a concert hall without walls? Who knew that every storm was a free performance? The sky and earth singing just for whoever cared to listen. You stretch your arms and sway gently, letting your body move to the rhythm. Each drop against your skin becomes a note in the melody. Your shoulders are drums, your hair the strings, your palms the cymbals. You're not just listening anymore, you're part of the song. And as you sway, you realize the music is more than just sound. It paints pictures too. The faster drops sketch little dancers leaping across your vision. The slower ones draw long ribbons, curling and winding as though across an unseen page. If you close your eyes tighter, you can almost see it. Raindrops spinning in circles, hopping from note to note, weaving together a dance that only you can watch. The puddle at your feet joins in, too. Each splash you made earlier becomes part of the music now, little echoes that bounce in time with the rain's rhythm. It's like a call and response. You tap the puddle, it answers with ripples, and the sky replies with even more drops. Together, you're all in sync. And then comes the quiet joke, soft and silly. You realize the rain is playing its instruments without ever practicing. You try clapping your hands in rhythm with it, but you miss half the beats. The rain, though, perfect every time. You grin and whisper, "Show off," and the clouds chuckle back, sending one especially loud drop onto your nose, like a cymbal crash in reply. The music shifts again. For a moment, the rain slows, as though the orchestra is taking a deep breath. The patter becomes gentler, softer, a lull in the middle of the song. You tilt your ear, catching the delicate trickle of water slipping down the window pane nearby. It's the soloist of the moment, a single voice carrying the melody while all others fall quiet. The sound is thin, clear, tender. It makes you feel calm, like being wrapped in a blanket woven from sound instead of wool. But just as you begin to sink into the hush, the tempo builds again. The drops grow faster, louder, more insistent. It's as if the orchestra can't contain its excitement anymore. The puddles erupt in applause, rooftops drum with thunderous rhythm, and the trees clap their leafy hands together in wild cheer. You spin once, twice, swept up in the music's grand crescendo. The rain is celebrating something. You're not sure what, but you don't need to know. It's enough just to be part of it. You breathe deeply, filling your lungs with air that smells of wet soil and blooming freshness. Even the scent is part of the symphony, a note too deep for ears, but perfect for your nose. Every sense is included. Touch, sound, sight, smell, all braided together into one living piece of music. Then the song begins to settle again, winding down like a story reaching its last page. The drops soften, the rhythm smooths, the orchestra leans towards silence. But not quite yet. One last solo emerges, the delicate plink of a single raindrop falling from the tip of a leaf into your puddle. You hear it as clear as a bell, high and bright, and in that note, the whole sky seems to smile. You smile too, because you realize you've been let in on the secret. Rain isn't just water. Rain is music made visible. Music you can walk through, touch, taste, dance with. It's a song too big to fit on paper, too wild to be caught in a jar. But here you are, in the middle of it, soaking and swaying, and it feels like the sky composed this very piece just for you. And as the last echoes fade, you look up again. Between the clouds, a soft shimmer forms, like someone is peeking down to see how much you've enjoyed their concert. A curious little shape in the clouds, a round, fluffy outline, seems to be smiling at you. Maybe, just maybe, it isn't only the rain that wants to play. Perhaps there's someone else up there, someone soft and giggly, sprinkling the drops with love. A friend in the clouds. You squint upward through the shimmering drizzle, and there it is again, that shape in the clouds, round and playful, like a face hiding behind fluff. At first, you think it's just your imagination, but then the edges shift. A puff of cloud wiggles like a cheek, another tuft curls like a lock of hair, and suddenly you can almost see it clearly. A child, soft and giggly, leaning out of the sky. This cloud child doesn't look like the stern, towering thunderclouds that sometimes roll across the horizon. No, this one is gentle and plump, with a belly round as a pillow, and arms so wispy they seem to stretch forever. Its eyes glimmer like patches of lighter sky, and its smile is the wide silver kind that only comes from someone who has waited all day just to play. You tilt your head, wondering if maybe you're imagining too much. But then, a raindrop lands squarely on your forehead, big and bold, as though the cloud child has just poked you on purpose. You laugh, and the cloud seems to laugh too. Its fluff jiggles, shaking out even more rain. Are you the one who's been sending all this water? You whisper, cupping your hands to catch the drops. They fill your palms so quickly, you almost expect the cloud child to clap and cheer. The water spills through your fingers, but you don't mind. It feels like holding a piece of the sky itself. The child leans down farther, though of course it never fully leaves the clouds. Instead, it dangles its misty fingers toward you, scattering a soft spray that sparkles in the air like tiny jewels. You run through it, letting the drops brush across your cheeks. It feels like being tickled by feathers spun from rain. The game begins. The cloud child flicks a puff of drizzle in one direction, and you chase it, arms stretched wide. Then it sprinkles a sudden burst right behind you, and you whirl around, laughing as the rain clings to your hair. Each sprinkle is a playful tap on the shoulder, as if the cloud is calling out, "Tag! You're it!" You slap your hands together in a puddle, sending water splashing back upward. For a moment, you imagine the droplets rising high enough to touch the cloud's toes. The child wiggles in response, sending down another shower. Bigger this time, as though saying, "Ha! Nice try, but I can always splash harder." It's like having a friend you can't quite reach, but who never feels far away. Every laugh you make is echoed by the patter above. Every step you take is mirrored by a soft roll of mist. Together, you weave a game across the space between earth and sky. At one point, you stop and wave both arms, wide as you can, like a flag calling out. The cloud brightens in reply, parting just enough to reveal a pale glow of light within. It's almost like the child is opening its heart to show you it's really there. You whisper, "Hello," up there, and a single, slow raindrop slides down your nose as if whispering back, "Hello." Down there. The thought tickles you so much you snort with laughter. You can't help but imagine what it must be like for the cloud child. Do they peer down at the earth and wonder what it's like to have feet that stomp in puddles? Do they sigh with envy at the sound of splashes, wishing they could join in more closely? Perhaps that's why they send the rain, so a little piece of themselves can leap down and play alongside you. And if you look very carefully, you notice that the raindrops don't all fall the same way. Some tumble fast, tumbling end over end like somersaults. Others drift slowly, swaying side to side as if holding invisible parachutes. Maybe those are the cloud child's toys, tossed down one by one for you to catch. You hold out your hands and let them land, pretending each drop is a marble or a pearl, a gift from above. The cloud child seems pleased. Its edges fluff up wider, and you can almost see it puffing out its chest with pride. It sprinkles more drops, lighter now, so soft they barely touch the ground before vanishing into mist. They tickle your skin like whispers of laughter. You laugh too, and for a while it feels like you've both invented your own language. A giggle in the sky, an echo on the earth, and then the wind joins in, tugging the cloud gently across the sky. Your new friend drifts slowly to the side, still raining but moving away, as though it's being called to another playground far off. You reach your hands up, wanting it to stay. For a moment, the cloud seems to hesitate, its shape stretching like an arm reaching back toward you. Then it sprinkles one last shower, heavier, rounder, as though dropping a farewell hug. The raindrops land all around you, dotting your shoulders, your nose, your palms. You close your eyes and let the hug sink in. When you open them again, the cloud child has drifted farther, already melting back into the blur of the sky. But you know it isn't gone. It's just hiding, ready to peek out again another day. And besides, the game isn't over. Even without the cloud child in sight, the rain is still here. Puddles are still gathering, the earth is still softening, and your imagination is still tumbling. You look down at your feet, where mud is beginning to ooze between your toes, squishy and rich, like chocolate cake batter. The rain has opened a new door, inviting you into another kind of play. Not just puddles now, not just music, something you can shape with your very hands. Mud pies, castles, and kingdoms. The ground is softer now, not just damp, but squelchy, the kind of softness that makes your shoes sink and sigh. You wriggle your toes, and the mud rises between them, cool and slippery, like pudding made by the earth. You laugh out loud, because even though grown-ups might wrinkle their noses, to you it feels like stepping into a secret recipe. You crouch down, scooping a handful of the sticky earth. It oozes between your fingers, slow and deliberate, as if it has all the time in the world. The rain plinks onto your muddy palms, thinning the mixture, turning it into something smooth and moldable. It doesn't resist you. Instead, it bends and shapes itself however you please. And so, you begin your mud pie kitchen. One scoop here, another scoop there. Pat, pat, pat with your palms until the mud flattens into a circle. You smooth the edges, tracing little scallops with your finger until it looks fancy enough to serve to royalty. The puddle beside you provides extra water when your mixture grows too thick, as though the puddle is your kitchen sink. Order up. You giggle, presenting your first mud pie to the raindrops. They patter down approvingly, drumming a celebratory beat across the pie's surface. For garnish, you pluck a nearby leaf, stick it right in the center, and announce, "Chef's special." The leaf tilts as if bowing, proud to be part of the dish. But one pie isn't enough. The rain is endless, and so is your imagination. You scoop more mud, this time building higher, stacking layer upon layer until you have a tall, wobbly cake. The mud slides a little, leaning to the side, but you catch it with both hands, patting it back into place. A drizzle of rain adds the perfect glaze, shiny and smooth. You decorate the top with tiny pebbles, lining them up like sprinkles. The kingdom of mud begins to grow. A pie here, a cake there, and and soon you decide it needs more than food. It needs walls, castles, fortresses to protect your creations from mischievous raindrops. You shape the mud into towers, rolling thick clumps into cylinders, stacking them carefully. The rain helps by keeping the clay pliable, as if it wants to join your construction crew. Little by little, your castle rises. It's not neat, not perfect, but it's strong. 4 towers, a wall between them, and a gate drawn with your fingertip. You imagine tiny knights inside, their armor made of pebble shards, their helmets decorated with grass blades. They cheer as you place them in their new home. And of course, every kingdom needs a queen. You scoop a round ball of mud, patting it into the shape of a head, smoothing raindrops across it until it gleams. You crown her with a flower petal, bright against the gray-brown clay. Your Majesty, you whisper, bowing low. The raindrops seem to bow, too, bending the petals of nearby flowers in a humble nod. Your kingdom grows bolder with each passing minute. You add a moat around the castle, digging with your fingers until water rushes in from the puddle. It swirls happily, filling the trench like it has been waiting its whole life for this job. Tiny boats, sticks, leaves, and a stray acorn cap sail across the water, patrolled by frogs in your imagination. Soon, you've built not just one castle, but an entire village. Mud houses with pebble doors, pie shops with leafy awnings, towers that lean proudly despite their crookedness. Each building hums with life in your mind. Children splash in the muddy streets, merchants sell raindrop lemonade, and birds swoop down to deliver letters sealed with dewdrops. And the rain? The rain is their sky. It falls endlessly, providing water for their fields, music for their festivals, and laughter for their games. You grin as you picture the whole kingdom throwing a celebration. Every drop of rain a confetti piece tossed from above. You step back, hands filthy, clothes speckled, but your heart swelling with pride. Who else can say they've built a kingdom from nothing but earth and sky? You wiggle your muddy fingers in the air and declare, "I am the great builder." Your voice echoes faintly, swallowed by the pattering storm. But in your kingdom, it rings like a proclamation. And then, you notice something funny. The rain has made the mud so slick that one of your towers begins to lean. Slowly, slowly, until, plop, it falls right into the moat with a splash. For a second, you gasp, but then you giggle, because what's a kingdom without a little chaos? You rebuild, taller this time, stronger, with thicker walls. The collapse becomes part of the story. The great storm that tested our strength. The puddles surrounding you mirror your village, doubling it in their reflections. 2 castles, 2 queens, 2 whole kingdoms in the watery mirror world. You wonder if there are children splashing and playing in that upside-down place, too, their laughter rippling through the surface. You smear the last bits of mud across your hands like paint, marking yourself as part of the kingdom. A builder, a baker, a ruler, and a child all at once. And as you finish patting the final tower, the rain softens, as though applauding your creation. The drops fall lighter now, tapping gently against your muddy fingertips, like a friend clapping you on the back. The air grows stiller, quieter, and you glance around. The sky is changing. Shadows stretch longer across the puddles, ripples catching the dimming light. The rain hasn't stopped. It's just shifting into something new. Something that isn't about building or baking anymore. The shadows want to dance. The kingdom stands proudly behind you, towers glistening with raindrops, mud pies cooling under the soft drizzle, the little moat rippling like it's laughing to itself. You wipe your hands on your already smeared shirt, then stand tall in the puddles, ready for whatever the rain wants to show you next. That's when you notice it. Shapes moving in the water, shapes that aren't just yours. At first, it's only your reflection dancing across the puddles, stretched and wobbly as the drops keep falling. But then, something strange happens. Another figure twirls beside you. A darker copy, bending longer than your own, sliding and shifting as though it has its own ideas about how to dance. You blink, tilt your head, and your shadow tilts too. Only a half-second later, like it's teasing you, playing catch-up on purpose. You take one step to the left, and the shadow swirls like liquid ink across the rippling puddle. You take 2 hops forward, and your watery partner leaps with you, its arms flaring out wider than yours. It's mesmerizing. The puddles have turned into mirrors, but not stiff, flat mirrors like the ones in your home. These are wild mirrors, fluid ones, mirrors that stretch your movements into something brand new. You raise your arm and spin slowly, and your shadow blooms like a ribbon dancer. Longer, softer, almost like a dream. The rain thickens just a little, dimming the world into a softer shade of gray. And suddenly it feels like you're in a theater. The puddles are the stage, the rain the curtains, and your shadows, the real and the watery, your dance partners. You decide to test it. You bow dramatically, bending low at the waist. The shadow bows back, rippling a little extra as if to make fun of how serious you look. You laugh, shaking your head, and the shadow laughs too. Its mouth opening wide in jagged ripples, a watery grin stretched across the puddle. Then the music begins again, not with instruments this time, but with rhythm. The raindrops tap in on your shoulders, on the mud roofs of your tiny kingdom, on the puddles themselves. 1,000 little beats, all working together. The stage is alive with sound, and your shadow knows it too. You twirl once, quick and light, and your reflection spins into a long, elegant arc, like a ballerina who's had just a little too much sugar. You leap, and your shadow leaps higher, taller, soaring out across the puddle's surface. You stomp, and the reflection stomps with such drama that the water explodes outward in a crown of silver droplets. It's impossible not to laugh. You never knew shadows could be so funny, so full of personality. This one seems mischievous, exaggerating every move you make, making your jumps higher, your spins wilder, your bows sillier. It's like having a friend who copies you but adds a twist of comedy each time. You raise both arms like wings, flapping them slowly, and your shadow grows enormous, stretching across the puddles as if it's about to take off into the cloudy sky. You flap harder, and the shadow soars, ripples breaking across its body as though it's shedding feathers made of water. For a moment, you truly believe you've turned into a bird. A rain bird born from puddles and clouds. And then you tiptoe, soft, quiet, like a cat sneaking across the ground. The shadow follows, but even sneakier, shrinking itself to a thin ribbon, sliding across the puddle's edge. You pause, crouching low. The shadow crouches too, curling in on itself. For just a heartbeat, you stare at each other, child and shadow, partners on a rainy stage. Then, boom! You leap, and the shadow bursts outward like a firework, spraying droplets in every direction. It's glorious. You spin, you leap, you crouch, you stomp. The rain claps above you, the puddles sing below you, and your shadow never tires. Every move is mirrored, exaggerated, transformed into something magical. You feel like two dancers sharing one soul, and there's more than one shadow. As the clouds shift, new shapes emerge across the ground. The trees join in, their shadows swaying across the puddles, their branches like dancers stretching out their long arms. The grass leans, and its shadow ripples like 1,000 tiny ballerinas moving in unison. Even your castle has a shadow, short and squat, but dancing along, bowing whenever the towers droop and rise. It feels like the whole world is joining your performance. You're not just a child in the rain anymore. You're the star of a parade of shadows, all twirling and swaying together, lit by the silver glow of a hidden sun. And in the middle of it all, you giggle at the silliest thought. What if shadows get bored when the sun is out all day? What if they wait for the rain, longing for puddles so they can dance freely at last? Maybe that's why the rain feels so happy. It gives the shadows a playground. The thought makes you stomp one last time, sending ripples racing outward. Your shadow claps its watery hands together, applauding. You bow again, this time with less drama, more warmth. Because in this moment, you feel it. You and your shadow are not just playing. You're friends now. The rain softens slightly, the music lowering its tempo. And in that gentle pause, you notice the sky changing. The gray clouds part just enough to let a streak of color through. Faint at first, then brighter, stretching across the heavens. A rainbow. A ribbon bridge from puddle to sky. The dance with your shadow fades as the sky brightens, not with sun, but with color. You tilt your head back, eyes wide, because above you stretches something so delicate, so unreal. You almost wonder if you're dreaming. It begins as a faint shimmer, barely there, like the ghost of a paintbrush stroke across the gray. Then it thickens, grows, until 7 gentle bands of color curl from one side of the sky to the other. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Though to your eyes, they are more than just names. They are ribbons. They are a bridge. They are a secret message written just for you. The rain, still pattering gently, seems to hush itself in reverence. Every drop slows, lighter, as if not to disturb the rainbow's entrance. The puddles mirror it faintly, though the ripples blur its lines into watercolor. You feel a shiver of excitement run through your body, because you know, absolutely know, the rainbow isn't just pretty. It has something to tell you. You step closer to one puddle, staring at the colors swirling on its surface. The rainbow reflected there seems to quiver, as though beckoning. You imagine if you were small enough, you could leap right in, swim up those colors like a fish darting through coral reefs. You giggle at the idea. Little you, swimming up a rainbow, splashing paint across the sky. Then, in the quiet of your imagination, a whisper seems to reach your ear. It's not a loud whisper, not even a clear one. It's like the sigh of the wind brushing past your cheek, like the stretch of a soft lullaby. But you're sure of it. The rainbow is speaking. It tells you it is a bridge between sky and earth, between cloud children who giggle above and puddle worlds that shimmer below. It says only the curious can see it this clearly. Only those who play long enough in the rain to become part of its story. And you are one of those few. The thought makes your chest warm, as though a sun has bloomed right inside you. You smile, tilting your arms wide as if you could balance across that shimmering arc. And in your mind, you do. You take the first careful step, barefoot, onto the lowest ribbon. It feels cool, smooth, like walking across a beam of glass. But then it hums beneath your toes, alive, buzzing with color. You walk higher, one step, then another, climbing into the sky on that glowing bridge. Below you, the puddles shrink. The mud castles grow tiny, your kingdom turning into a patchwork quilt. Above you, the rain becomes a mist, like soft feathers brushing your skin. The world feels lighter, brighter, as though you've stepped into a dream that is somehow real. And the rainbow, it sings, not loudly, not with words, but with color. Every hue has a note. Red hums deep, a steady drum. Orange vibrates warmly like laughter. Yellow twinkles high, like bells. Green hums gently, like the heartbeat of grass. Blue sighs, long and soothing. Indigo swirls like a flute, soft and mysterious. Violet hums so faintly, it's almost silent, yet you feel it in your bones. Together, they weave a harmony that fills your chest with awe. You laugh softly, whispering, "You're beautiful." And for a heartbeat, you're certain the rainbow blushes. Its colors glow brighter, stretching just a little wider across the sky. But then comes the question, the one that makes you pause mid-step. Where does the rainbow lead? One end dives into the hills far away. The other hides behind the curtain of clouds. Maybe it leads to treasure, like the stories say. A pot of gold guarded by leprechauns who dance as mischievously as your shadow did. Or maybe it leads to something softer. A garden where every flower is made of light, where raindrops never fall heavy but float like bubbles, and where tired children can curl up and nap on beds of color. You take another step in your imagination, climbing higher, and your arms stretch out like wings. For a moment, you believe you could fly. The air around you feels electric, buzzing with promise. But even as you climb in your mind, you notice something important. The rainbow isn't rushing you. It isn't pulling you forward, demanding that you reach the end. It's simply there, patient, steady, offering itself as a path if you choose to follow. Or, perhaps, just as a wonder to look at and dream upon. That's when you understand the rainbow's secret. It isn't about the destination. It's about the pause, the breath you take in the middle of a storm. the reminder that beauty can bloom even while the sky is crying. It's about play and wonder and color in a places you least expect it. The thought makes you smile so wide your cheeks ache. You twirl under the real rainbow now, letting the rain kiss your face, letting the colors arch overhead like a guardian. You spin and spin until you're dizzy, collapsing into the soft grass with laughter bubbling out of you. The rainbow stretches above, watching kindly, like a parent tucking you in. And as you lie there, chest rising and falling with your giggles, you whisper, "Thank you." The rainbow hums one last chord in reply, faint but full, like a lullaby fading into silence. The rain softens further, the drops now so light they barely touch your skin. You close your eyes for a moment, still seeing those bands of color behind your lids, and as you breathe, you realize the story isn't done yet. The rainbow has given you a gift, but the rain still has more to share. You open your eyes again and look at the puddles. The colors are gone now, fading with the light, but the drops themselves are sparkling, each one shining like it's carrying a tiny story of its own. And you know, you're about to hear them. The rainbow fades into the misty horizon, but you don't feel sad. Instead, there's a soft tingling inside you, the kind that comes when a secret has been shared. You glance back down at the puddles, their surfaces trembling with every raindrop, and suddenly, you notice something you hadn't before. The drops themselves are alive with voices. Not loud voices, not chatter or noise, but whispers. Delicate, fleeting, like the sound of breath brushing against glass. You lean closer to the puddle, holding your breath so you don't miss it. And there it is again, a story tucked inside the fall of a single drop. The first drop tells you about a mountain far away, its peak crowned with snow. I was born here, it sighs, in the hush of white silence. I slid down icy slopes, tumbling with my brothers, until the sun kissed us warm enough to run as a stream. You picture it clearly, a tiny drop racing through a forest, chasing deer hooves and ducking under roots, singing its way down until it found the river. The next drop falls, and with its splash comes another tale. This one speaks of a wide, restless ocean. I lived in the salt, it hums. I rode the backs of whales, swirled in the tails of dolphins, and tasted the secrets of the deep. You can almost smell the sea as it speaks, sharp and briny, and hear the whoosh of waves against cliffs. Your imagination shows you a drop hiding in a seashell, listening to the whispers of the tide like lullabies, and another falls, landing lightly on your wrist. I was steam once, it murmurs. I danced in the air above a teapot, curling and twisting like smoke until I became a cloud. You laugh at that one. Imagine a drop that once spun in your grandmother's kitchen, fogging her glasses as she brewed tea. Perhaps you've already breathed it in before, not knowing it would return someday as rain. Each drop has a story. Some speak of deserts, where they hid deep underground, waiting years for a chance to rise again. Some tell of jungles, where they clung to leaves so wide they could sleep under them like hammocks. One whispers shyly that it once rolled down the cheek of a laughing child. part of a teardrop that wasn't sad at all, but born of too much joy. You feel dizzy with wonder, as though you've just opened a book with endless pages, and the words are falling all around you. You cup your hands, letting drops gather there, listening as the tiny puddle fills. Each one hums a different note, and together they form a chorus, a soft melody of travel and memory. You realize you're holding the world in your palms, the mountains, the seas, the rivers, the skies, all gathered in a small pool of rainwater. A thought tickles you then. Perhaps you, too, are part of their story. This very moment, your laughter in the mud, your twirling with shadows, your gazing at rainbows will be remembered by these drops. Later, when they rise as mist, when they fall again somewhere else, they'll carry whispers of you. A faraway child may splash in a puddle and hear about the muddy castles and pies you made today. The idea makes you grin so wide you nearly spill your handful of rain. You tip your hands slowly, letting the water pour back into the earth. The drops scatter, giggling, rushing to share their stories with the puddles. For a heartbeat, the whole ground around you seems to shimmer, as if you're standing on the cover of a magical book. The rain slows again. You blink, realizing it's not so much a storm anymore as a gentle drizzle, the kind that feels like a sigh after laughter. The drops don't speak quite as loudly now. They murmur, softer, as though they're growing tired, settling down to sleep. You feel it too. Your hands are muddy, your clothes damp, your hair stringy with drizzle, but inside, you're glowing. You've heard stories that span the whole world, stories that remind you you're not alone, that every drop is part of something bigger. And now, so are you. You glance toward your home, the window glowing faintly with golden light. It looks so warm, so inviting, like a lantern calling you back. Your heart stirs with the thought of blankets, of tea, of familiar voices telling their own stories. Perhaps it's time to leave the rain outside for a little while. You take one last look at your puddle friends, at the mud castles guarding your leaf pies, at the shimmering shadows still rippling faintly on the ground. You press your hand gently to the earth, leaving a print of your palm in the wet soil, as if signing your name in their storybook. Then you rise, stretching your arms wide, letting the drizzle slide down your skin one final time before turning toward the glow of home. The rain doesn't stop. It follows you, tapping lightly on the roof, promising it will still be there when you return. But for now, the story shifts. The world outside grows quieter, dimmer as you step into the warmth of inside. The door creaks open, and a puff of warmth greets you like a hug. You step inside, leaving the damp world behind for a moment, and instantly, the rain becomes something different. Out there, it was your playmate, your orchestra, your storyteller. In here, it turns into background music, a soft drumming on the windows and roof, a rhythm you can lean against like a lullaby. You peel off your soggy shoes and wiggle your toes, leaving little muddy prints across the floor, tiny signatures of your adventures. Someone might fuss later, but for now you giggle, because each footprint feels like a badge of honor. You've built kingdoms, danced with shadows, climbed rainbows, and spoken to drops older than the hills. A little mud seems like a small price to pay. A blanket waits for you, folded on the couch. You pull it around your shoulders, and instantly the world slows down. It's soft, heavier than the rain, wrapping you like a cocoon. You sink into it, sighing with the kind of happiness that only comes after long play. Your cheeks are warm, your hair damp, your hands still a little sticky with earth. But none of it matters now. The blanket says, "Rest, little builder. Your kingdom is safe." You curl against the cushions and glance out the window. The glass is freckled with raindrops, and each one catches the light, glowing faintly like tiny lanterns. They slide down slowly, race in each other, leaving wiggly trails like snails. You choose one to follow with your eyes. Drip, 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 slither, pause. Another drop joins it, and together they tumble faster, giggling as they race to the sill. You clap softly, as if applauding their finish. The room smells like something cozy. Bread warming in the oven, or maybe soup bubbling on the stove. The scent drifts toward you, mingling with the earthy perfume of rain seeping in from your clothes. It feels like two worlds blending. The adventure outside and the comfort inside. You sigh again, this time deeper, settling into the thought that you get to have both. The rain outside doesn't sound like a storm anymore. It sounds like tapping fingers on a drum, gentle and steady. If you close your eyes, it almost feels like the rain is practicing a rhythm just for you, like a parent tapping your back to soothe you towards sleep. But you don't sleep just yet. Instead, you let your mind wander, drifting between the hum of the rain and the warmth of the room. You picture your mud pies safe in their leaf dishes, the castle glowing proudly, the shadows still twirling in puddles, the rainbow stretching across the sky. They're still out there, even without you, your kingdom alive in the drizzle. That thought makes you smile. You tug the blanket tighter and press your cheek against its folds. The fabric smells faintly of sunshine, though it hasn't seen the sun today. Maybe that's just the way comfort smells, like something you don't have to explain. You nuzzle closer, thinking how nice it would be if the rain could curl up with a blanket, too, just for a moment of rest. You imagine a giant sky blanket, soft and wide, tucking the clouds in for a nap. The picture makes you giggle softly, and your giggle echoes against the window pane like a friendly knock. The house sighs around you, wood settling, pipes murmuring. The rain answers with its steady tapping, never harsh, never hurried. Together they weave a duet, inside and outside humming in harmony. You realize you don't need to do anything right now. You don't need to build or stomp or dance. You just need to be. And being is enough. You stretch your legs under the blanket, toes curling, body sinking deeper into the cushions. The rain seems to notice you're slowing, you're softening. Its rhythm changes, lighter now, like a whisper. Rest, little one, rest. And just when you think you might drift off entirely, you hear another sound, a familiar one, a voice from the kitchen, warm and rich, calling gently, not to pull you away from your coziness, but to invite you closer. The promise of a story, the promise of more magic, This time not from raindrops, but from an elder who knows the secrets of the sky. You lift your head, sleepy but curious, the blanket trailing behind you like a royal cape. The rain hums outside, patient, waiting, as you pad softly toward the glow of the kitchen. The kitchen greets you like an old friend. Warm light pools across the table, spilling over the chairs and floor, as though the lamps have melted into honey. The air hums with the scent of simmering broth, rich and savory, and the faint crackle of a kettle just beginning to whisper on the stove. You feel safe here, as though you've stepped into the heart of a nest. At the table, your grandmother sits, hands folded loosely in her lap. Her eyes glimmer when they meet yours, and she smiles with a softness that feels older than the rain itself. She pats the chair beside her, and you scurry over, still wrapped in your blanket cape. Had your fun in the rain? She asks, her voice like velvet, warm with humor. You nod quickly, and she chuckles, glancing at the streaks of mud still on your hands. Ah, I can see you made friends with the earth again. Good. The earth likes children who remember to play with it. You rest your head against her arm, and she strokes your damp hair, fingers gentle as falling drops. You know, she says, her tone softening into that special rhythm she always uses when stories are about to bloom. Rain has always been more than weather. Long before you and I, long before houses and streets, people listened to the rain and called it a blessing. They knew each drop carried a spirit. You blink up at her, curiosity sparking. Spirits, you whisper. She nods. Yes, little ones. The rain spirits are tiny messengers. They slip down from the clouds to remind the world it is alive. Farmers used to bow when the first rain came to their fields, thanking the spirits for bringing water to seeds. Without them, food would not grow. And in some places, children believed if you stood still long enough in the rain, the drops would tell you secrets. You sit straighter at that, heart fluttering, because hadn't you already heard them, whispering their stories of oceans and mountains? You want to tell her, but something in her eyes says she already knows. She continues, her voice weaving through the kitchen like smoke from a candle. Once people believed the rain was laughter from the sky. The clouds would fill up with too many giggles, and when they couldn't hold them anymore, they spilled over, showering the earth in joy. That's why puddles sparkle. They are little pockets of sky laughter waiting to be splashed. You grin wide, imagining the cloud children above, tumbling with laughter until they tipped over, spilling their joy all the way down to you. No wonder the rain felt playful. No wonder it seemed like a friend. And, your grandmother adds, lowering her voice as if sharing a sacred secret, some say every raindrop carries a blessing. One for patience, one for courage, one for kindness, one for dreams. They fall everywhere, scattering their gifts across the world. When you play in the rain, when you let it touch your skin, you are gathering blessings without even knowing it. You lift your hand to your cheek, where drops had kissed you earlier, and wonder which blessings might have landed there. Courage, kindness, Maybe a little bit of both. Your grandmother chuckles softly, seeing your expression. Yes, child, the rain is generous. It gives without asking, again and again. That is why people learn to listen, to honor it, to tell its stories. And you, she taps your nose gently. You are part of its story now, too. The kettle whistles faintly, breaking the moment, and she rises slowly, her shawl trailing like a river behind her. She pours steaming tea into a mug, the aroma curling up in fragrant ribbons, and sets it in front of you. The steam fogs the air, and for a second, you imagine it might rise into a little cloud above the cup. Maybe even a baby cloud, shy but ready to join the sky someday. Your grandmother settles back down, sipping her own cup. Outside, the rain continues its steady hymn, tapping softly against the roof. You sip the tea, warm, floral, soothing, and lean into her shoulder, the blanket still draped around you. The world feels small and wide at the same time, small in the coziness of this kitchen, wide in the stories of rain spirits, blessings, and sky laughter that stretch across time. You close your eyes, letting her words echo inside you. The storm outside has slowed, but the storm of stories within you grows richer. You think of the Mud Kingdom, the Rainbow Bridge, the whispering drops, and now these myths from long ago. Each piece fits together, not separate adventures, but one long song. Your grandmother hums softly, as if to confirm the thought. It isn't a tune you recognize, but it matches the rain perfectly, blending with its rhythm until you can't tell where her voice ends, and the sky's music begins. And just when your eyelids begin to feel heavy, she pats your hand. Come, she says gently. There's more to see. She leads you to the window, where the glass is fogged with warmth. You press your fingertip to it, drawing shapes in the mist, watching as the outside world blurs and bends. The rain may be quieter now, but the magic isn't finished yet. Your fingertip drags a path through the misted window, leaving behind a clear streak. Outside, the world is still soft with drizzle, the air thick with silver light. You press again, swirling lines and loops until the glass becomes your canvas. Circles, stars, a crooked heart. It doesn't matter what the shapes look like. Each one feels alive, born from the meeting of your warmth and the cool glass. The raindrops on the other side join your game. They crawl down the window in lazy trails, some darting quickly like playful fish, others meandering slowly as if half asleep. You laugh softly when one drop collides with another, the two joining forces to race faster toward the sill. Teammates, you whisper, and with your finger, you draw a little flag above them, as if they're racers crossing a finish line. Soon, your doodles spread wide, covering the window in constellations of your own making. A crooked moon with sleepy eyes. A flower with petals curling like raindrops. A long, squiggly line that could be a river, or maybe just a snake with a mischievous grin. You don't bother to decide. You let your finger wander, guided by the music of the drizzle outside. And then you notice something. When you connect the raindrops with your finger drawings, new patterns emerge. One drop becomes the eye of a star, another the jewel of a crown, another the lantern at the tip of a doodled boat. Suddenly, the window isn't just glass anymore. It's a map. A shimmering, glowing chart of a place you've never seen but somehow recognize. In the faint light, the droplets gleam like stars themselves. You trace between them carefully, dot to dot, until the map becomes a night sky of its own. A bear-shaped cluster, a dragon with a looping tail, a castle with tall turrets. The raindrops twinkle as though proud to be chosen, each one eager to play its part in your constellation story. You press your nose close to the window, fogging the glass again, and giggle. On the other side, the world looks dreamy, blurred by mist and the soft curtain of rain. The puddles shimmer like lakes of silver. The trees bend slightly, their reflections doubling in the wet ground. For a moment, it feels as though you're not just peeking outside, you're gazing into another world. You imagine climbing right through the glass. What would it feel like? Would the window stretch like a bubble and let you slip into that blurred universe? Maybe you'd find yourself drifting among those watery constellations, tracing paths between glowing drops, hopping from one twinkling puddle star to another. Perhaps you'd discover a sky where rain is the only light, and every drop tells its own bedtime story. Your finger lingers on a larger raindrop, fat and slow, stuck halfway down the pane. It trembles, quivering as if holding back laughter. You whisper to it, "Where have you been?" And though it doesn't answer in words, you can almost hear it sigh. "I've been waiting for you." It slides lower, finally, leaving a clear path behind, and you follow it with your finger, tracing its journey. It feels like a shooting star streaking across your private sky. You close your eyes for a second, making a wish that the rain will never run out of stories. Behind you, the kitchen remains warm and steady, your grandmother humming softly as she tidies the mugs. But you're in another place now, a quiet place between wakefulness and dream, where windows are portals, raindrops are lanterns, and fog is a veil hiding something wonderful. You draw one last shape in the mist, a small heart with 2 dots inside, like eyes peeking out. It feels like leaving a secret message for the rain itself, as though it might read it later when you're asleep. You lean your forehead gently against the cool glass, closing your eyes, listening to the steady tap-tap-tap of drops above, around, everywhere. And as you rest there, breathing slow, the rhythm outside begins to shift again. The drizzle thickens slightly, heavier on the roof, steadier against the window pane. Not wild, not stormy, but purposeful, like footsteps gathering together. You lift your head, eyes wide. It sounds almost like a parade of raindrops marching across the night. The sound builds slowly, like drums beginning far away and rolling nearer with each heartbeat. Tap, tap, patter, pat, pat, thump, thump, swish. You tilt your head and smile, because it isn't just noise anymore. It's music, organized, joyful, like a secret celebration moving past your window. You press your palms to the glass, peering into the night. At first, you see only the familiar rain falling, streaks of silver weaving together into a curtain. But then, your eyes adjust, and the curtain parts in your imagination, revealing something far more extraordinary. Raindrops dressed like tiny lantern bearers, glowing faintly as they march in neat rows across the rooftops. They carry their lights proudly, each lantern swinging gently, casting golden circles that bounce off the wet tiles. Some drops wear tall hats shaped like teardrops. Others wear cloaks shimmering like silver threads. You giggle softly when you notice a particularly round raindrop wobbling side to side, trying to keep up with the rhythm. The procession winds across the roof, past the chimney, then along the gutters, like an endless ribbon of light. You hear their instruments too, not trumpets or drums, but the sounds of rain itself. A snare drum beat made from drips in a tin can, a flute-like whistle from water rushing through a pipe, a deep bass thrum from thunder far away. Together, it forms the grandest parade you've ever witnessed. You imagine leaning out the window and waving to them. Perhaps they'd wave back with their tiny hands, or maybe tip their droplet hats in polite greeting. Maybe one of them would toss you a lantern, glowing softly, so you could join the parade yourself. The idea is so delightful that you can almost feel it. The lantern warm in your hand, your feet stepping carefully across the slick roof tiles, your voice humming along to the rhythm. You'd march beside them, side by side, with drops that have traveled from oceans and rivers, mountains, and all gathering here for this nighttime celebration. The line of lanterns stretches farther than you can see, disappearing into the distance. You wonder where they're going. Perhaps to a grand hall made of clouds, where they'll celebrate until dawn. Or maybe they're delivering their light to sleeping children all over the world, sprinkling dreams as they pass. One raindrop pauses near your window, glowing brighter than the others. You imagine it peeking in, curious about you. It taps gently on the glass, as if knocking. Tap, tap. You giggle and tap back. For a moment, you and the raindrops simply share the silence, two friends acknowledging each other across the thin veil of glass. Then, with a little bow, it hurries to rejoin the parade. The rhythm swells again. The rooftops shine as though polished, reflecting the lanterns in shimmering streaks. You hear a chorus rising now. Not voices you can understand, but notes pure and high, like wind chimes played by the sky itself. The parade is singing, and though you can't make out the words, you know the meaning. Joy, play, blessing, goodnight. Your eyelids droop with the gentle sway of the music. The room behind you grows dimmer, the kitchen a blur of warm light. You curl deeper into your blanket, rocking slightly as if keeping pace with the march. Outside, the raindrops continue their endless procession, and you know they will keep walking, keep singing, long after you fall asleep. You take one last look at the glowing line stretching away into the distance, and whisper, "Good night, rain." The parade answers not with words, but with a softer rhythm, slowing as though to tuck you in. The lanterns fade into the drizzle, their glow becoming the ordinary shine of street lamps on wet pavements. The raindrops settle back into their usual pattern, a lullaby of gentle tapping. And just as your eyes close, you feel it, a gift left behind. a hush wrapping the world in peace. The hush lingers like a soft blanket over the world. You notice it first in your chest, the way your breath moves slower, quieter, as though matching the rhythm outside. The rain has changed again. It is no longer a parade, no longer a song, but a whisper, a secret language meant only for you. Each drop falls gently now, like a fingertip brushing your cheek. You close your eyes and imagine them leaning down from the clouds, offering tiny gifts. One gift smells of new leaves, green and sweet. Another smells like clean earth, damp and rich. The whole world breathes deeper after rain, as though it has just finished a long sigh of relief. You shuffle closer to the window and crack it open just enough to let the air slip in. Instantly, the scent wraps around you. Fresh, cool, alive. You inhale deeply, the way you might smell a loaf of bread fresh from the oven or a field of flowers after winter. It feels like a present, carefully unwrapped just for you. On the sill, the drops gather and plink softly into a puddle below. They no longer race or tumble, but fall one by one, steady and patient. You imagine each of them carrying a goodnight message, tying little bows of calmness on the world. Rest now, they seem to say. Dream now, grow now. The puddles outside shimmer like mirrors. In one, you catch the glow of a street lamp stretching across the surface like melted gold. In another, the dark branches of a tree ripple as though they are stirring in a dream. You remember your mud kingdom, your rainbow bridge, your lantern parade, and realize each puddle still holds pieces of those adventures, tucked safely inside. The house is quieter, too. Your grandmother's footsteps are distant now, her humming faded into memory. The kitchen light flickers off, and only the glow from outside remains. You curl deeper into your blanket, sinking into the softness of chair and cushion, your body heavy with contentment. The rain whispers again. You imagine it leaning close, speaking directly into your ear. Good night, little one. Thank you for playing. Thank you for listening. Your heart fills with warmth, a calm joy so big it almost aches. You want to answer back, but your words come out as a sleepy hum, barely more than a sigh. That's enough. The rain understands. Outside, the rhythm slows even further, like the rocking of a cradle. Tap, pause, tap, tap, pause. Each sound stretches into the next, until the silence between drops feels just as important as the drops themselves. The world is breathing, rocking, lulling you gently toward dreams. Your eyes grow heavy, but before they close, you make a promise in your heart that you will remember this feeling, that even on the brightest, driest day, you will recall the gifts the rain left behind, the clean air, the shimmering puddles, the hush of peace. A final drop slides down the window, slow as honey, glowing in the faint light. You watch it until it disappears into the sill, leaving the glass clear. Somehow, it feels like the last word of a story, the ending, and also a beginning. The rain has given its gift. Now, it is your turn to sleep. The world feels softer now, as though the rain has tucked everything under its quilt. You sink back into your blanket, every muscle unwinding, your head leaning into the cushion's quiet embrace. The hush outside is steady, gentle, like a hand smoothing the edges of a dream. You listen one last time to the drops. They fall with care, neither hurried nor heavy, but slow and certain, like a lullaby repeating its chorus. Each sound carries a little reminder. You are safe, you are loved, you are part of something larger than yourself. Your eyes drift half closed, and you picture the rain, not as weather, but as a friend. One who arrived playfully with puddles and mud pies. One who sang songs through the gutters and played lantern parades across rooftops. And one who now whispers goodnight with infinite patience. You realize the truth that has been growing all evening. The rain is more than water. It is a companion, one who visits to play and soothe, who leaves behind blessings too quiet to see, but too powerful to forget. You think of the rainbow's ribbon bridge, the mud kingdom, the raindrop races, your grandmother's stories, the dreamy constellations traced on fogged glass, the parade with lanterns glowing through the night. All of it feels connected now, woven into one long thread that ties you gently to the sky. A smile tugs at your lips as you close your eyes. The rain will be back again someday, with new games, new whispers, new gifts. But for now, it has given you all you need. You murmur softly, almost too quietly to hear yourself. Good night, friend. The rain answers with silence. The deepest, most comforting silence of all. The kind that says, everything is in its place, everything is at peace. And within that silence, you drift, floating easily into the soft river of dreams. Now, little dreamer, let everything slow. The story has reached its quiet shore, and you are resting in its glow. The rain outside has grown faint, almost invisible, like the last notes of a song that fade into memory. You breathe deeper, softer, letting your chest rise and fall as though it, too, is rocking in time with the drops. You feel the hush wrap around you like the coziest blanket, each thread woven from moments you gathered tonight. The sparkle of puddles, the laughter of clouds, the glow of lantern parades, the soft blessings whispered onto your skin. Each memory rests gently in your heart, glowing faintly like little lanterns of their own. The world outside smells new and fresh, washed clean, safe. Windows glisten, trees sigh, earth hums quietly beneath its quilt of dampness. Everything is preparing for rest, and you are part of that rest too. Let your body soften, heavy and warm, as though you are sinking slowly into a feathered nest. Let your thoughts drift like leaves on gentle water, floating farther and farther from the shore of wakefulness. If a thought stirs, let it drift past, and watch it ripple away without worry. You are safe here. You are loved here. You are whole here. The rain, your grandmother's voice, the night itself, all of it has carried you to this quiet place. Now there is nothing to do but rest, to dream, to be held by sleep. So close your eyes fully now. Feel the last trace of rain's whisper linger in your ears, like a lullaby meant only for you. And let go, gently, into the deepest dream. Good night, sweet one. Good night. Sweet dreams.